Oh, welcome to Extra Connections, Days of Our Lives Connections. I'm James Lott Jr. This is a little mini spotlight from someone who was on a show that just celebrated 56 years on the air. That's just crazy. Um, and I have many friends on that show, but I have another friend who was on it at one point, a recurring character named Anthony back in the day. We're going to talk to him about that whole role and what he did. He has actually something to show us from that time period. Help me welcome Tony Winters. Hi, Tony.
Hello, James Lott Jr.
Good. Okay, so what years were you on Days of Our Lives?
I believe it was 87, 88.
Back in the day. Okay, so so the audition process, how was the audition process back then for, do you remember?
Here's what happened. One week I had an audition for an episode of Dynasty, and I had the old Dynasty.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I had an audition for Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives called first. It was for the role of an orderly, just a couple of lines in the hospital, something like that. And they called me and booked me. Then Dynasty called and said, they wanted Tony. Now, that being a more prestigious credit.
Well, yeah, of course, yes.
My agent called Days of Our Lives back, said Tony isn't available. He's going to accept a different role, blah, blah, blah. They said, okay, we'll keep our ear to the ground for him. I think it was just a few hours later, they called my agent and said, we have 3 days for him as a bartender in a restaurant that's frequented on the show called Shenanigans.
Shenanigans, yes.
Remember Shenanigans?
Yes, I do.
So, and it didn't conflict with the Dynasty shoot date.
Okay.
So, of course, I accepted it. And when I remembered my first day I was rehearsing, I had met actress Jane Elliott.
Yes, Jane Elliott, yes. I know
Jane Elliott was on the show, and she and I had met at some point before we started rehearsing our scene together. And the director was, dry blocking the scene. And the guy who I was replacing, his name was Joey. And he looked at it and he says, well, we can't call him Joey because he's not Joey. And Jane Elliott said, why don't we just call him Tony? That's his name. And for the next year and a half, they wrote me in as Tony the bartender. I would greet Captain Brady as he entered the establishment.
Yes.
What do you have? And he said, well, I'll have the Cobb salad and a beer. I said, coming right up, and I'll walk away and the scene will begin. And I remember that summer, I got invited to the Days of Our Lives picnic.
Sundown picnic. That's crazy.
And I remember I was so excited because that was the first. I'd never been into a screening of anything or anything like that. So this was my first recurring role, daytime, and I got to go to the picnic and I got to ask this girl I was seeing at the time to come with. We'd drive all the way out to Pacific Palisades in my car with absolutely no air conditioning.
The things you do were young.
Hey, man, I did the best I could with what I had. But anyway, no, I love Days of Our Lives as a result of that. I still, every once in a while, get a check in the mail from them, residuals. I'll pop in and see what's happening in Salem. Just recently, I was at a print shop here in North Hollywood, and there was this pretty girl sitting near me, and you're
pretty Tony. You're pretty Tony, so of course.
I'm pretty Tony. So anyway, I said hello to her, and we started talking. She told me she was on Days of Our Lives. And her name is Raven Bowens.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
And we connected on social media, so we've stayed in touch. And I told her before she was born, I was doing her show. So that's my Days of Our Lives story, and I'm sticking to it.
I love it. That is so good. Thank you, Tony, for sharing that story with you. And congratulations to Days of Our Lives for 50 years on the air, and continue much more success to them and to you, Tony. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. One thing, you want me to email you a picture from